Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of research writing. I hope that your first week wasn't too much of a shocker and that you were able to look through the syllabus and all the other info that MDL put out for you. I am just starting to look at some of the submissions that have been made. Some things came in early, and so I'm recording this on Monday, so you'll see this tomorrow on Tuesday, but today, Monday, I'm starting to go through what's already come in. So I'll be able to get some feedback to those of you who submitted earlier. You'll get your feedback a little bit earlier. Typically with grading, what I try to do is the course week ends on Monday night. So throughout the next 4 days or so, Tuesday through Thursday or Friday, usually Friday, is when I try to get the big assignment done. Discussion board, things like that might not be graded right away, but the bigger part, like for this next week, your MLA assignment, or the weeks after, doing your works cited page for your paper, doing your intro and your conclusion, things like that. I try to get graded in the first 4 days of the course so that you have time to look at that and implement that with the next thing that you submit. Because remember, this is kind of a building type of course where this next week, right now for week 2, isn't necessarily that because it's a standalone assignment. But then the following weeks, when you work on your works cited, when you add and you're writing your sentence outline for that you will submit that, like you'll submit your sentence outline, but then you will also add and include the updated, edited versions of everything you've submitted that far. So when you submit your outline, you will go over your title page, you'll be tweaking and editing your research proposal, and anything else that's due up until that point, it will all be in that file. So things build on each other. So if I can get things to you by Friday, then you're working on that week's assignment. Then by the time you get that done, you're getting ready to submit it towards the end of the course week, then you can implement the changes from the previous assignment because it needs to be as updated as possible. I understand if I don't get it to you by like Saturday or something like that, and you don't have time to do that, we can make sure you let me know or note in the file that you weren't able to make the appropriate changes to previous work. But in general, it needs to be a continually updated file in one file instead of multiple files submitted. So that's how grading works. Let's see. Something else in regards to grading is about the discussion boards. The instructions say to respond to at least 2 of your peers' posts, that's the bare minimum. Like that's what is the minimum expectations. And so in terms of the rubric, there's a rubric that is in Blackboard that I use to grade discussion boards. And 2 is good. That's like the standard. When you are able to respond to multiple people, like 4 or 5 plus people, that shows more excellence and that you are going above and beyond, really seeking to learn the material, to interact with your fellow students. So good in terms of the rubric and points assigned to various things in the rubric. Good is doing the minimum, doing what is expected, and that's responding to at least 2 people. So not only is responding to more than 2 people good for your grade, it's also good for just general interaction, learning from each other, developing camaraderie, because as many of you have taken online courses before, sometimes it's difficult to build that community, and that's why we have the discussion boards, because it does that for us. Another thing about grading, the rubrics that you will get back from me when I grade your work, like for this past week, week 1, you did your title page and your research proposal. I will send that file back to you through Blackboard, through the grading part of Blackboard. I will send that file back to you, and I will send you a separate file called a rubric. And that will show you exactly how many points were assigned for various things in the assignment, and then how many points out of those that you received. I had a student ask me last course and say, if we don't see the rubrics till after you grade them, how do we know what's expected of us? Well, the rubrics are based on the assignment instructions. So if you follow the assignment instructions and you do well, and if you just read them carefully, you'll know what is expected of you. And that's the rubrics that I use and that I create are based on the assignment instructions. So there's not going to be something in the rubric that I was expecting of you that you won't know about. So if you read the assignment instructions, read them carefully, follow them, you will know exactly the basis and the things that you'll be graded on and what the rubric will look like. Let's see here. Just looking at my list of things I wanted to tell you this week. Let's look at week 2 now. I think that was the the gist of the general things I wanted to share with you. Week 2, your main assignment is learning how to format sources in the MLA format. You'll have your reading, your Lester and Lester book, and some supplemental things. There's some really good resources like Sign the Bible in MLA, because things like OWL and the Lester and Lester book are not Christian-based, Bible-based book and website. So there is a file in the Week 2 resources folder that shows you how to cite the Bible in the MLA format, because that question comes up a lot. And then how to, there's YouTube videos and other things linking to other various sources to use. I'm going to attach in the announcement for this the citation chart from the Purdue OWL website, and that's a very, very good, thorough chart that shows not only how to cite something in the works cited, but then when you are using that source in the paper, how to cite it in the paper as well. And that I reference that a lot when I'm doing other freelance work and work for other places. I've referenced that a lot. So I will attach that PDF to the announcement that this video will be in. So I had someone ask too once about this assignment, saying, why are we looking up all these different things? Why shouldn't we just be looking at our own, like what we would use for our paper? And the main answer for that is practice, practice, practice. There may be some obscure kind of source that you need to use, and you're like, how do I even cite that? Well, through this assignment, you'll be practicing that, and you'll be practicing how to find things, how to reference things, especially because a lot of it will be internet-based. Different types of websites that contain an author, that don't contain an author, that contain a date, or there is no date, or it is an actual book on the web, or it's an article, or things like that. So there are a lot of different things, and that's what this assignment will help you practice. The reading and the assignment will help you practice that when you get to your works cited for your paper, it should flow easier. It should come more easily to you instead of struggling so much with that first time. So that's about the assignment. You're going to be looking at various sources, and the other announcement, audio announcement from MDL, goes over a lot of this stuff too for assignment 2, but I like to focus on just a few things that I see pretty common across the board. So that's why I go into more depth in some things. And then, so that's assignment 2. And then discussion board is, as you're doing a lot of biblical and theological research for not just this course, but then for all of your other courses, where do you go? Do you use the Crow Library on the web? How do you know if a source is good or not? Sometimes it's difficult to know unless you find it. One thing that I do is I look for that topic or phrasing or whatever I'm trying to prove. I look for that in other sources, and if I find it in other places, then I know that it is a solid and true fact. What do you see? What are indicators of suspicious sources? How do you evaluate them? And for the discussion board, it needs to be more than a couple sentences, like, oh, I look here and I look there, and I can figure it out if it's good or not based on this. It needs to be a solid paragraph, which means it needs to be 5 to 6 sentences of answering all of these questions. So that's another thing, is sometimes discussion board posts, if it can be a very quick answer, it tends to be a very quick answer, but these using very brief answers doesn't encourage discussion amongst each other or encourage people to respond, because there's not a whole lot to respond to. So give it some good thought, a full good paragraph responding to the discussion board post, and then that's by Friday night. And let's see, I believe that is about it for this week. I'll attach the OWL citation chart. That will be something that will be a very good help and reference for you, because I don't believe that's in the course itself, but something that I reference a lot, and it's from Purdue, the OWL website, which is something that Moody uses and references a lot. Okay, I believe that is it. If you have any other questions or anything like that, please feel free to email me. I check email a lot, and I will get back to you within 24 hours of your email, either with your answer or with I am working on it and I will help you figure it out. So I hope that is it, and I hope you all have a great week.